So, left hand one with your before, as we said.
Yeah.
You could see now very much kind of like a bit of an angle there now in terms of the shaft, the left arm and so on. Club very sort of middle and neutral rather than that sort of forward position we want to try and get it, okay? What we're looking for now, as we're showing this sort of routine, a sequence and a setup to get you set up better. When you had this set up on the left-hand side here one now, your hips on the way back would slide this way. Just because you were just sort of too high with the right side, they couldn't really go around you. You would just tilt and slide this way, okay? So in terms of the back swing, what we would see, your legs collapsing, that knee kind of going down there, and a bit of a collapse there with that knee, like so. And as you got back to the golf ball, as you come into impact here now, this one we just about sort of stayed on the ball, but you are literally moving again. You see how your head movement after the ball now, there's a lot of movement there. That's just about okay, and that would have been a reasonable shot. But as we said, if you're that far from being good to terrible, it's very, very inconsistent player playing golf, okay? So the sequence now, feet together, ball you can see opposite your left foot-ish. It hasn't got to be exactly, there's no sort of like left toe, left, whatever. Just to your left side, okay? And what we're looking for is a straight line down from that shoulder. What that in turn does as well, strengthens your grip slightly. Yeah. Not by changing your grip, you're just holding the club in a different position. It's going to change how you hold it, okay, for the better. Then you put your right hand now underneath and see your right shoulder going down there, okay, as your hand goes down. I mean, we said before, this hand here is on the club higher than that one there. So therefore, this shoulder needs to be lower than that one. Just the fact your arms are the same length, okay? If one hand is below the other one shoulder needs to be below the other one to accommodate for that. Okay, so both arms are kind of naturally hanging down. And if we look at that setup, when you set your feet, okay, as weird as it felt like your body was way over here, in comparison, they're not that much different. But as I said, that for me is the key thing. A nice straight line, neutral line down through your left shoulder, your left hand there, and the club nicely in line, okay? Now in terms of the swing, there's a little bit of a hip slide. Okay, over time we're going to try and work on getting that hip to rotate around the corner, okay? But because you started in a better position, okay, as you come back to the golf ball now, there's your impact. Your head now is a lot more behind the golf ball. If I get that line there and there, you can see where that ball was. Your head now is behind the golf ball, okay? And then your hands at impact, as you can see, just kind of in front. So you're maintaining a good kind of impact position, head behind, hip and hands moving left. When you were here, if you try to move your hands and hips left, your head got in front and you got steep across the ball, pulls left, slicey, fatty shots to the right there. Big difference, yeah? Your strike on here now has changed massively. You can hear there's no thump of the mat. Although you won't make a divot on here, the sound of the contact is saying you're hitting the ball properly, yeah? The mat's not helping you at the golf ball as well as you are there now, okay? So we could be disciplined with that. If we hit a bit matty first, well, yeah, it wasn't a good swing. You know, it might be a good result on there. We've got to be disciplined with that, okay? And then through to the finish, okay? In time, that will just become a more natural move. You still have to think about that movement with the arms and the club as you go back. But the main focus for me is going through this and changing that position, yeah? That will happen. That will just a little bit of where your body gets into, yeah. And again, habit. Your arms have naturally done a certain thing to hit a golf ball, so your instinctive reaction to swing a golf club and to swing it left. We said, well, your putts were generally missing left, weren't they? You attacked a golf ball because of the movement with your hands on the club and the face opening. Your club face would always have a sort of tendency to aim to the right as you went back and get too open. So your way to compensate that was to do this. So you attack the ball from the outside swinging left. Yeah. So with putts that you can't slice, they just become pulls. With chip shots, pitch shots, and maybe your short irons, they just become pulls. Okay. And then with the longer clubs, as we said I think on the course yesterday, if we put a line across your golf, and some of these are from the previous lesson obviously, but if we look at your shorter irons, they'd be here, and then as the clubs get longer, they go in this direction. Yeah. So about sort of 7, 8, 9, they sort of find a middle ground. They sort of keep going further as the club get longer. Yeah. And we want to try and get that ball flight a lot more neutral. What you're finding now with those ones we saw on the screen, they were like 11 yards left, 3 yards left, 5 yards left. They were just going straight left because the face was stronger, but you're still used to hitting the golf ball a little bit to the left. Yeah. But that will kind of evolve over time. The same way that path has been created by a face being open, when the face is less open, you won't need to start going across the ball. But that's not necessarily just change like that. You have to think, okay, once you start seeing a ball go more left, you go, actually, I can start moving my arms this way. And that'll be something probably go to lesson 3, maybe lesson 5 as we go through changing this path which will get your arms up higher for you, yeah? So your post-swing position will be better once the path changes. The path will change once you get comfortable with that club face and the ball going a bit more stronger left, yeah? Rather than sort of the weak cutting one to the right. That, for me, definitely, if you can go through that, again, I think I read so much, it's 3,500 times you get muscle memory. So if you can practice the setup as much as you can, even on the range, do it. And again, try and go through that sequence on the range where you set up like so. You go through this sequence every single time. Then sort of get the sort of sensation. You sort of swing the golf club back maybe to about here. Just doing that. Work on that hip. Just get that feeling of that hip. Just keep repetition. Build it up over time gradually. And then when you go to hit a golf ball, you just set to the golf ball and you just hit it. Don't be on the golf ball when you're making contact with that ball. I want you to hit balls on the range the same way on the golf course as a full swing. If you're doing small little drill swings, that's fine. Chippy shots on the range, you get the feeling of that, that's absolutely fine. But when you come in a full shot to a target, it needs to replicate the same movement you do on the golf course. You can't be there going, hips are doing this. The swing's less than 2 seconds, Gav. What can you think of in that time? And we saw, giving you 3 static changes of setting up, it's still got a bit kind of like messed up, and there's a bit like, oh, where are my feet going? Because you have to think about something, okay? Once that routine and sequence becomes just second nature, you won't be there thinking so much about that. You can then spend a bit more conscious thought about what the hip's doing. Once that hip then works, say 7-8 times out of 10 at the moment, you're probably a 50-50-ish. And when it's not quite right, it's all right, but there's still a little bit of that movement. That'll take practice. Again, up against a wall there, stand to a wall there now. Just get your hips turning away from the wall, not kind of into the wall, yeah? Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Good man, very, very good. Okay.